bring in Senator Lindsey Graham, Republican from South Carolina. Senator, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
As you look at these pictures, what goes through your mind?
Senseless waste of decent human beings trying to do nothing but travel freely throughout the world and got killed for no good reason.
You heard about the two Ukrainian jets shot down this morning. When you hear something like that, what goes through your mind?
That the rebels are very engaged in trying to dismember the Ukraine, and the Russians are all in helping the rebels. And it is pathetic what the United States and Europe is doing in response to this naked aggression. Sort of breaks my heart to see the Ukrainian people left out in the cold.
What should the United States and Europe be doing?
First, arm the Ukrainian military, train them so they can defend themselves. How about UN resolution condemning Russia? You ask a good question. Whose finger was on the trigger? In every meaningful way, it was Putin. So let's have a debate in the United Nations about who's responsible for this and put Russia on trial. I don't know how the outcome would be, but the process would be great. Energy sanctions led by the United States. Deny landing rights to Aeroflot when it comes to coming to the United States, and put Putin on a list of people that we should not do business with personally in terms of banking and energy.
When you say put Russia on trial, you mean put Mr. Putin on trial?
The Russian government, through him, yeah. How about a resolution condemning this action of killing innocent civilians? It is a war crime. And making the case that Russia is to blame as much as the rebels, and just see how the world would respond. You know, the European response is heartbreaking. I appreciate our allies, but quite frankly, Europe has folded in the face of naked aggression. We're not doing much more, and Putin's got to be pretty pleased with the response of the world community toward him.
Well, as far as I know, U.S. intelligence sources say they can prove that it was pro-Russian militants who fired this missile. They can prove that the missile was fired from eastern Ukraine and not Russia. What they cannot prove is if Russian operatives were on the scene when that missile was fired, or that Russia supplied this weapon.
I don't find that to be a problem for Lindsey Graham. We know where the missile came from. It wasn't fired by the Ukrainian government. It was fired by the same rebels who shot down the fighter planes. We know that Russia is providing arms. The satellite photos of the Russian military base on the Ukrainian border shows arms are flowing into Russia. We know that there are all kind of Russian special forces units throughout the Ukraine, and I am convinced that this missile could not have been launched without some Russian assistance, and it came from Russia itself. So this is why you would have a trial to prove these things.
How would you characterize Mr. Putin at this point?
Serving his interest above all else, making sure that Russia dominates its neighbors, that NATO can't advance around his borders, snuffing out democracy where he finds it within Russia, trying to control the region he lives in, expanding Russian power and influence, getting personally rich at the expense of his people. He has absolutely no empathy or sympathy for individuals. Naked aggression toward his neighbors to try to control the desires of the Ukrainian people to have a different life, to move toward the West, and just a dictator, an autocratic ruler who has destroyed democracy in his own country and is trying to destroy it in his backyard.
What would you like President Obama to say to Mr. Putin?
Stop talking to him, just act. I would like President Obama to come to the Congress, and he would get an overwhelming response from the U.S. Congress for unilateral sanctions, if nothing else. I'd like to see President Obama call Samantha Powers, who's a good UN ambassador, to draft a resolution condemning Russia for the part they played in this, and start naming Putin individually to be subject for sanctions. Do all these things, then call him and say, if you continue to dismember the Ukraine, more will be coming your way. And arm the rebels, arm the Ukrainian military.
You said more will be coming your way, not war, right?
Yeah, no, not war, more.
More.
Okay, this is important. 80% of the Russian people believe that Putin is doing a good thing. Sanctions against the Russian economy, and we could grind it into the ground. It's no larger than the size of the Italian economy. I want the Russian people to feel pain in response to the pain they've caused. I want to put sanctions on their economy so they understand that what Putin's doing is not good for them long term. And the way to get to Putin is to basically make the Russian people pay a price for supporting this guy. They're part of the problem as far as I'm concerned.
Senator Lindsey Graham, thanks for your insight this morning. I appreciate it.
Thank you.